hills and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance that's bit in his eye. Well, they gave me bars, but I can see between to a dusty yard and a long gone green. They call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I drown my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone. I'm sober as good.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Shortbangers. I'm Matty, joined tonight by Colin and John. This is episode 103, I think. Colin, you all right?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I should have asked your open question there, like how you doing, rather than just you all right? Because that implied I wasn't interested, and I just wanted a quick answer.
I know you're not, so it's fine.
John, you all right?
Good question. Same question for me.
Same question for me. How are you doing, John?
Aye, good. Just ready to go.
Well, we'll get stuck right into it then. No point fanning about them.
As the actress said to the bishop.
Right, we're about 35 minutes on the clock, right? And first question that we've got, and I nearly lost it, comes through William. Right, William's tagged us in a tweet, right? Just put that last one, and I don't know if he's saw this tweet. It was from, I think so it's about Robert Earnshaw being the wisest being on the planet.
Oh, aye.
So they've put 4 tweets out for Robert Earnshaw. Just quickly go through them. Right, first one: since we sent robots to Mars before sending humans, isn't it possible that the first extraterrestrials that we encounter on Earth could not be the aliens themselves, but might be their technology instead? Right.
Yep.
Next one: it's my birthday, and it made me think the hospital I was born in is the only building I've left but never entered. His next one: there's zero evidence that today is Sunday. It's Thursday, right? But he obviously wrote this on a Sunday. We're all kind of relying on the fact someone's kept an accurate count since the first one ever. Which is fair. And this was a question that William wanted us to discuss, right? What if plants and trees are actually farming us, giving us oxygen until we eventually decompose and they can consume us?
Aye. They do last longer than us, don't they?
Well, they're much longer. I thought about this before, right? So no in that format. But you know when you talk about what you want done when you die, right? And so your choices are cremation or buried. I don't care if there are other options. Eaten, maybe in some cultures, right? But I quite like.
I'd be resuscitated.
Aye, that's a good option as well. But I kind of maintain that I don't want any money spent on. See, like folks spend thousands of pounds on fucking coffins, and then they burn them. Fuck that! I said it to Jane. Get the cheapest thing you can find, like in a cardboard box. Bury me, plant a tree on top of me, and then as I rot away, it'll feed the tree. Tree will grow. And then,
you spoke about that before, I'm sure. It's quite common. It's more common, I think, now. But and I don't know. I might have asked this question at the time. But so you spend that thousands on a coffin, £3,000 or whatever it is.
Aye.
Do you think they actually burn that, or do you think they reuse it?
Oh, by the way, what a scam!
You mean like when you're in the crematorium and you push the button, you just get like it goes down on the on the
back into the car,
and then you get tipped over at the side.
Once the boys come into their wee bow and that, they fuck off out the black doors and right round, take the car round the back
to the trap door. Get it?
Yeah.
Straight back to the co-op.
Recyclable coffins. Why not? Why would they have a different one?
Aye. Do you just want to open up a crematorium? Just asking for a friend. That's an idea.
Well, might be the way. I mean, surely they can't burn every. Like, what waste of money?
Aye, it is a waste. It's just mental, isn't it? But
I watched a documentary, and it was from, I want to say it was from America, where they were saying that we're having to build doorways wider, wheelchairs stronger, and crematorium ovens bigger to take account of the ever-increasing average human being. And I don't know if any of you guys know this, but when the bigger you are, the hotter you burn. So the ovens need to take account of that as well.
Thinking I might have to rethink the cardboard box idea there. That might not be strong enough for me.
Proper masking tape on the bottom.
Reinforced cardboard box.
Hope it doesn't rain that day.
Just do that wee fold that you do for the Christmas boxes. You know how you kind of like fold one corner and tuck it under. You'll be fine. The pauper's funeral's still on.
Any idea on when they're increasing the car parking spaces size, John? Like, did they mention that in the article? Because it's something that irritates me.
Nah, but then I don't know if that's anything to do with the car parking sizes are probably fine. It's the size of cars are getting bigger. But then are the size of cars getting bigger to accommodate big fat bastards?
No, they're not. I don't think they are. It's for like, because look at, well, you get wee women getting out of big Range Rovers and that kind of, their husband's got a lot of money. Assuming it's the husband that earns all the money, of course, obviously.
Controversial, Colin.
But no, just for example.
Or we guys and their wives' Range Rovers as well for balance.
Exactly, because you see that sometimes. But the spaces remain the same size with the days of the Ford Orion and the original Ford Fiesta. And the wee Volkswagen Golf, whereas now they're all bigger and wider. So they need to increase the spaces.
Aye. But then I think the problem with that is that a lot of, say, supermarkets, for example, like your wee Aldi, your wee Lidl, they're built on stupid bits of land and they just cram a car park in there that isn't fit for purpose.
All right. We're going to the next question then.
Did we answer the question? What was the question again?
Are we getting farmed by trees? I'm going to say yes. I think that's...
Yeah, I'm going to say that. And the calendar one's a good question. And the hospital one, so he's never been back to hospital. That's what he's saying. Even as a footballer, he's never had to go back to hospital.
I find it interesting that he's
left, but he never entered. So he.
No.
So no. Oh yeah, it does. Aye.
Presumably, it's like a dedicated maternity hospital. Then.
Oh, that must be the only reason. Yeah.
Aye.
And his wife's
I
never
doubt
had
he's
kids
been pregnant since
Yeah, and his wife's never had kids.
Yeah, or in that hospital. Yeah. Okay, right. There's a confusing start to the show, wasn't it? Flash Gogsy, next question, probably less confusing. Why are Hibs fans so sexy? We should all be haggard by the stress, but we're collectively stunning. It's a good observation, and I think we are living proof.
Oh, obviously, aye. Just looking around the room.
Based on the feedback we get about it.
I've got a nice voice, apparently.
So's Colin.
Aye.
John's told me that before.
Aye. I've evidently know it. I'm just lucky I'm funny.
Why are we so sexy?
Aye.
It's going to be a number of factors there, eh? Like proximity to the fourth.
Aye.
Arthur's Seat. Maybe there's like a wee sort of trifecta of supernatural forces for the fourth, Arthur's Seat and Hillrig Park.
Hillrig Park was where I was thinking there, or Leith Links at least. You going with that?
Did you ever see when you were younger? Did you ever go to Leith Links at Easter and roll eggs down the hill?
No.
No,
I didn't live in Edinburgh when I was wee, so it would have been a long way to come for that. Rolling eggs is shit.
Aye.
Like,
I think the idea is that they're supposed to break.
Aye, but it's shit. Like, you spend ages colouring them in or painting them, whatever you do, right, when you're wee, and then you go and just destroy the fuck out of them. But you can't even eat egg. Like, the egg is the best part of an egg. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's, you know what, like, fucking, you know what, just fucking launch into the hill and ruin it.
Aye. The egg is the best part of an egg, though. I'd love to see somebody disputing that.
Get on a fucking t-shirt.
I was just thinking that. There we go.
Right, Guinness 2022. It's been received wisdom from ancient times that there are more questions than answers. John, Matty and Colin, however, frequently diverge on insightful questions on such as stepping on Lego or slugs. Has Shortbangers therefore disproved that age-old assertion?
No, because we do. No, because John generally takes us on from a question to another question without answering the first question.
Yeah.
That gives it that there are more questions than answers. Because we never
if
answer
anything,
half
we
the
prove it.
questions. We create new questions. But yes. Disagree, John?
Yeah.
No, I agree. I'm still thinking about something before about Matty getting burnt when he dies, and thinking that probably out of the three of us and most men who have got a partner, I'm going to say a female partner, but I didn't mean to be sexist or anything else. My wife burns, melts, candles, you name it. She's literally burning money. And that's the same when it comes to a funeral. Why do we do it?
That's bad,
Convenient, isn't it? It's like it seems it's less space if you burn somebody than if you bury them. So that's why it's convenient. You burn them, you've got the ashes.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to do with that, you don't have a
You
nice
don't
wee
even need to
ceremony
get
or
the
whatever.
ashes. Because see, if you get the ashes, it just creates more fucking hassle. What do I do with them? You get them back, you go, right, what do I do now? Oh, he or she liked this and that. Ah, but no, I would prefer that. And you end up with this, and you go, fuck's sake, what do we do with these? It's well
See,
just say, just keep them.
when Dave the guinea pig died, right? Sad day, right? It was in the vets, and obviously they come in and tell you what's happening, and so it's the vets at Pets at Home, and the vet come and said, "We're going to need to put him down." I was fucking devastated. I loved that wee guinea pig, but then they come out with this wee brochure and says, "Are you wanting us to kind of cremate it?" And I said, "Well, what do you normally do?" He says, "Well, you can get like a wee service, so you wouldn't be there, but we would. Then you send them, you know, you get the ashes and everything." I'm going, "Well, a fucking guinea pig's ashes." Like I kind of liked him. He was good to have around and that, but fuck am I going to do with him? I was like, "No, but
Mad.
I didn't have to take it home there." And he's like, "No, we'll deal with that." But I was like, "Aye, that's grand." Does that cost you extra? I think it was like 20 quid for them to keep it and get rid of it. Like just
Oh, really?
incinerate it or
You could
whatever.
have put it in the bucket yourself, eh?
Well, I think that would be awkward as well. I would have felt really bad about that. See if I had to bring it home and then put them in
That's
the
what they're
bin.
doing. They're charging you 20 quid to do it.
Aye, I know, but that's like me getting the gardener to come and cut the grass, so I don't feel guilty about killing the frogs. If he does it, it's no me. So
Did you ever
I
ask him what the
forgot about
cash price was? No.
no, I should have. Guinness 2022 again says G.I. Jane is a really crappy movie from 1997, which scores only 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. Why is it still being referenced in the Oscars?
It's a haircut, eh? That's it.
But by the
I
way,
don't know if there's any other reference with the haircut.
no. Well, if you're
I would
listening,
watch a G.I. Jane too.
as Colin said that, no me will. If you're listening, I've not got your
Come
wife's
ahead.
name in my fucking mouth, right? with your slaps.
I never said her name either.
Oh no, never. Fair dues.
Have you seen G.I. Jane? Have you seen it?
Uh,
It's Demi Moore, eh?
I'm aware of it, but I've not seen it.
I've not seen it. I've obviously not seen it.
What was the last film you watched, Colin?
Oh, I've watched some recently. I got Sky Movies recently for free, and but they're shite. Films are shite. They're just like I watched one that the boy Better Call Saul was in. It's quite a new one. It's on Sky
Nobody,
Movies.
it's called.
It's called Nobody. That's
That was
exactly
all
what it's
right.
called. But it was, aye, it was all right. Just it wasn't all right. Like I watched it from start to end, but I was like, really? And I also watched in the same week. I think it was off that week. I watched the SAS one with the boy that's been cancelled now.
Oh,
Noel
and
Clark.
Middleton.
Is it? Noel
Oh,
Clark.
Noel Clark.
Is that his name? You know who I mean? Eh? Is that the right name?
He was in Doctor Who.
Aye, he was, or Torchwood or something. Or was it Doctor Who? Aye, one of them.
Did he
But
get cancelled for?
he got cancelled for just the usual stuff that actors not get cancelled for.
Right.
The same Weinstein stuff, but maybe to a different level. But or quantity. I think
Mhm.
the stuff was still the same, but just not as many. Red Notice or something. SAS Red Notice. Just pish. It was like the husband is in the SAS, or he's going to be the husband, and he's got this fiancée, right? And she's a fucking a doctor or a nurse or something, and they end up on a train that's going to get fucking like blown up and that, and he's got to get the baddies. And she's a nurse or a doctor that totally disagrees with killing people and that, right? She saves life, he fucking takes life and all that, right? And then at one point, she's like to him, drop him, like SAS slang, like for killing somebody, and I've gone, fuck off. She's a doctor. She spent the last 2.5 telling us like she's fucking saves lives in that, and she comes out with drop him like she's read
Drop
fucking
'em.
Bravo 20 yesterday. Fuck off. So, aye, that's wanky films. I think they're shite. I'm sure there's good ones out there.
Right, next one was from William. Said, if you could replace all of the grass in the world with something else, what would it be and why?
I'd go Astro. So it looks the same, but you need to cut it. Because I like grass. So it's like mum and dad's got nothing in their garden, right, slabs and that, and I just think it looks crap. Like get rid of grass, it brightens it up a bit. So if you were to take all the grass away, I definitely wouldn't go slabs or anything or pavements and that. It's rubbish. So Astro, 4G, like Livingston's one, it looks like a carpet sometimes.
What about the spongy stuff that you get in parks? Can you take the kids to the park? And they've got these. It's
like the sort of all-weather
like
surface for the tennis players.
Like bouncy.
I was thinking something soft, comfortable, comforting, something that you could just sort of sink into, like marshmallow.
Interesting watching football getting played on marshmallow, John.
It's interesting watching the game played on Astro.
This is true. This is true. I think what else you would replace? Astro's probably the obvious one, but it's a bit unimaginative calling the offence.
Oh, it's just me, eh?
It's kind
That's
of,
why they make movies.
I would make it with things that when you stepped on it, you got a different sound effect.
A piano.
Well, like a piano or a
keys.
A synthesizer or whatever. It would be different, and it would be even better if it was sort of contextual. So, like if you were heavier set, like me, I got a different sound than if somebody really skinny went on it. Do you know?
What they could replace grass with is like an Indiana Jones style floor puzzle that no one knows the proper combination to, so they'll just be folk plummeting to their death or getting hit by spikes.
Just a massive booby trap. Whatever.
Aye,
that would definitely make football more interesting, John.
Aye.
We finished the game with 6 men. Right, next question comes from Jack Gillies. What is emptier, the famous 5 lower or the Ernst Happel Stadion? Anytime Austria plays a meaningless game.
That's definitely the latter, isn't it?
Aye, I would say so. Although I'm not really up on my Austrian football, and I missed the Scotland game, so I didn't really care.
Well, that was who we played.
Aye, I missed it. Charlie Banks, next question. 2 in a row for strong opinion, boys. Thanks for sending them in, guys.
Strong opinion.
Yes, hello. Charlie Banks, he says, I'm a Monzo man, referencing last week's question. Thanks, Charlie.
Interesting. He doesn't look like a Monzo man.
No.
I've got a Monzo card.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, you bank buddies?
Aye,
Ooh,
I do. I used it. I've only used it 3 times because I got it for going abroad because it was better for the exchange rate and all that. You didn't get charged for using it abroad and in Europe and that.
Oh, aye.
So I got it for that. So I put my spending money in there.
There's
And
another
then
one.
the world shut down for 2 years.
The Revolut card does that as well, doesn't it? You can load it up and then spend. I've got one of them. Right, Charlie Banks, questions. First one, should OCD be renamed CDO?
Was it obsessive compulsive disorder?
Yeah.
Compulsive disorder. Alphabetical order.
Yes. I heard the penny drop there as you were figuring it out. If you listen back, anyone plays it back, like you just like like that.
So the Monzo Bank. Aye, no, it's alphabetical order, Aye, so it definitely, even though it doesn't make sense anymore when you say it out loud.
Yeah. And then second question, how many Tommies a day is borderline abuse?
I heard that referred to as a Barclays today.
Aye.
A Barclays?
A Barclays, was that in a conversation about Elton John?
It was.
No, it was Elton John and it was Kenneth Williams. Yeah.
Yeah.
Went home and had a Barclays.
Barclays sounds like a posh wine, doesn't it?
Aye, well, it was Kenneth Williams that was talking about it.
He wasn't going to have a common one, John, was he?
No.
Well, what's a common Barclays, like TSB.
Aye. That's the one that likes to say yes, isn't it? So
So what was it? How many is self-abuse?
more than 3. I presume you mean in
When you were-
short succession, or
Uh,
like in a day, or
fuck, it's a long time. Fuck it,
aye,
hell.
again.
Uh,
It's like
try to
look at the
think
age
back,
us,
try to
like
think back to the glory days.
all long past those days, eh?
Is that what Bruce Springsteen was singing about?
Aye.
More than 3 wanks a day.
Has Charlie got a rake of questions here? You're reading them all out. Is that what's happening? Is he just sitting a big list then?
He's got 4 questions. So
The question that we
halfway,
haven't asked.
halfway through.
Question that we haven't asked is, how many Barclays is Charlie having a day?
Aye, that's what he's wondered. He's worried, eh? That's what he's worried about. He's pushing double figures and thinking, is this too many? I'll ask Shortbangers.
There was a story, I can't remember if we've talked about it here. There was a story, it was in the Metro, it was years ago, about a Brazilian laddie who, have we talked about this, John, before?
Yeah,
Does this ring a bell?
I'm sure a long time ago.
A long time ago. Probably talked about it in Longbangers, but it predates Shortbangers. But the boy had basically wanked himself to death. But the thing that was curious for me was in the article, it said it had, I can't remember the number, it's like 30 odds. I was going, how would they ken? Like,
Aye.
unless you've been keeping like a
Red
tally
draw.
mark. Aye.
Red draw. That's
But how? We need to get the autopsy done in that. Because with his arms, we had one arm that was fucking massive, bigger than normal.
absolutely no spunk left in him.
Aye, that's gone, and the amount of friction burns down there indicate that it's a minimum of 30 that he's had that caused his demise.
According to theboxhouston.com, that reputable news outlet, a 16-year-old boy died after masturbating 42 times without stopping in Rubiato town in Goiás region, Brazil. His mother told a local newspaper that she already knew about his son's addiction and that she planned to see the doctor, but that the decision came too late.
That's the only thing that came too late.
What?
By the way, I'm glad I
how
never
did
just
you-
made that up, John. The fact that you found that and verified that bit of information fucking pleases me no end.
I don't understand how he just, like, without stopping. Like, once the job's done,
You have to stop.
you have to stop. Why would you, like, how do you just keep going? Like, plow on through that? It just doesn't make.
How did they count? That's the bit that blows my mind.
I where does, but then if you're carrying on, where do you stop? Where do you say, right, that's 1, right, 2.
Aye.
Like, right, that's 3. Like, how?
Yeah,
When did
maybe
they're just carrying on the whole time? It's just one big fucking long one.
You maybe had targets. Do you know, like by the Blue Peter, they had the thing when it was like the charity thing. They had like the big like fundometer thing. Maybe they just had a spunkometer.
Just trying to
It's
fill it.
like there's
Just trying to fill the
one.
hole.
Aye, and obviously as they go further up, you'd expect to have less, so the numbers got closer together.
We'll go back
got-
to John Leslie. He's at the spunkometer.
How's he
John.
doing, John? 41, but doesn't look like he's got much left in him.
Okay, Popeye over there. Oh, fucking hell.
Right, question 3 for Charlie. Would you rather be Craig Levein or Alan McGregor?
Ooh.
Oh, McGregor. McGregor's made more money.
And one more.
One
Significantly.
more. Younger. Yeah. I mean, Levein can be actually a wee bit funny if you listen to him on Radio Scotland. That he's actually all right. McGregor's just an angry man, but then you don't know what he's like in real life. That's just what he comes across as. Although reports didn't appear that he's that good a guy off the park either. But that's the media. I don't know what the media in Scotland's like. Probably try to drive him at the game. So, it's I'll take the money and the trophies. For me.
See, in his spare time, I reckon McGregor's one of those guys that walks about with tracky bottoms and socks over the top of it, and
He's
five-a-side moldies on his feet.
Do you think so?
Aye.
I reckon he's like a jeans guy, like a sort of light,
Robert Levine.
sort of faded jeans. McGregor, I'm talking about.
McGregor. Nah, he'd be joggers or shorts.
think so.
Maybe McGregor, aye.
Levine
Gainsborough
dresses head to toe in Marks and Spencer. Guaranteed.
Chinos and that.
Aye, chinos, woolly jumpers, quilted jacket. Keep himself warm.
There was a Twitter thread started by View for a Terrace. View from the Terrace, not a Terrace. View from a Terrace would be very specific. View from the Terrace, but I suppose that is also quite specific. Anyway, about best Scottish football photographs, and the photograph of Levine standing with the backdrop of the Natural Order banner behind him got posted. And I only ever think when I see that one is a cracking photograph, but he looks like Angelo Sepethimu.
You see his carrier bag, eh?
Aye, if it had a carrier bag, that would nail it. Right, last question for Charlie. Best piece of graffiti you've ever seen?
See, this is bad, but just round the corner from me, there's a lamppost, and there's a poster on it of a missing lurcher. I'm sure the dog's name was Joe, and I must have walked past this lamppost about 50 times, easy 50 times, and then I looked at it one day, and just above it, there's a black marker with an arrow pointing down the way. It says "Sold to Jinkies."
So what?
Problematic graffiti is your favourite, John. What would I say?
It's listen. That's what it says, and
Aye.
I mean, there's
Just
other stuff.
repeat it. It's not your opinion, is it?
No, absolutely not. I used to take pictures of some of the graffiti that I saw in Livingston as well. I'll see if I can find any.
I quite like, see if you go to like a public toilet and you get graffiti there, right? And somebody's put like "for a good time phone" and they put a phone number in, but then somebody's responded to it like that was a shit time, or things like that. I quite like those wee things because they can be quite funny. One that sticks in my mind was my old man used to work at Whitburn Academy when I was really wee, and I mind him tell me, so they had a lift for getting up and down without using the stairs. Like that's what lifts are for. Thinking I felt the need to explain that.
It's good to know, like.
I had well, it said maximum load 8 people, and somebody had written "or one to me," who was a boy that went to school.
Okay,
and I always remember that one. So I quite like that bit of graffiti. And there's another one which was like "Jesus saves," and then somebody put "Dalglish scores the rebound," which is decent.
I remember one when I was younger, and it wasn't even that well done. But it was on a road sign or a parking sign, like "no parking" sign between the hours off, and they'd written it and changed it to "wanking." So no wanking between 9 and 5 or something. But it's like dull, but it was amusing when I was 11-year-old or something.
You never get the temptation when you see a "to let" sign to stick an eye in the middle.
Aye, an eye in the middle. Yeah.
I'm amazed that doesn't happen more often. Or the other good one you get is at roadworks where it says "ramp" and somebody puts a T at the start. Stupid things like that amuse me. Like I could laugh at stuff like that a lot. Right. Do you remember Marlon Clark, age 36, for the Joe, has AIDS? That was graffiti that went around age. And McCabe Grass was the other one.
Grass, that's one I was just thinking when you said that. There was a grass one.
Aye.
Was he though, or she?
I have no idea. No idea about any of it. It could have just been a scurrilous rumour. It was easy for me to say. Aye. Right. Andrew Brown said, "What other Scottish football teams wouldn't John McGinn get a game for?"
Well,
mind you answer it. No point me answering the questions here.
I mean, they're getting at Celtic there, are they? Because Celtic didn't buy them. Which, like, I don't know why we're so bothered about that because we didn't want him to go there anyway.
No,
it's like we moaned about Scott Brown going there for fucking 15 years. So, but he wouldn't have got a game of Hearts because Harry Cochrane was going to be.
Yep.
He was going to be the next big thing, wasn't he? So that was what they used to tell us.
Aye. Harry Cochrane, where's he now? I can't see.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault. It was the Hearts fans that made the big deal about it, wasn't it? Aye, he's taking the second division or something.
Aye. They used to say it was a myth. Large fans, McGinn's a myth.
Yep.
All right, 150k in Hanlon Hill. Why do Scots not call pussycats fanny cats?
I don't know.
Is it
What's
something
that?
we would want to kick off? John, you're
George,
thinking
have a
here.
deep think.
I'm contemplating what is and isn't the right words to say anymore after my favourite bit of graffiti. Could you call them fud cats? Because that's
Fud cat.
another fud cats.
What I quite liking the thought of is James Bond starring in Octofanny. no, Sean, it's called it's Octofanny where I come from. That's my Sean Connery impression there, everybody.
There must be
Thanks.
quite a few looks of confusion, like when Scottish folk go over to the States, like and vice versa, because they're talking about the fanny and they mean the arse.
The fanny pack, another bum bag in that.
Which always reminds me of the line in the office with Big Keith sitting and he's talking to Don and he says it, because in America, the fanny is your arse, not your minch.
And it's that.
He just
Like
he's
Scotch egg.
Scotch egg. Fucking brilliant. All right, another one to get your teeth into for 150k on Hanlon Hill. Does the person shitting in the next, that's not Sean Connery again, that's the word they used, right? Does the person shitting in the next cubicle to you have the right to leave without you exiting at the same time if they started to wipe first?
There's a bit of etiquette there, isn't there?
So what are we doing here? Are we trying to avoid two people leaving different cubicles at the same time?
Or it's like, if they've started wiping first,
They're in the lead. So
that's
pole
it.
position.
Basically.
Aye, I mean, I've worked in loads of offices over the last 27 years or whatever it's been, and rarely has somebody left a cubicle at the same time as me. So there is an etiquette there. It has happened, because when it happens, you think, fuck it then, because you do what you know, like who's been sitting beside you having a shit.
You know, the worst thing about that is when there's only one hand dryer.
Aye.
Because then you're like, you want to be first to wash your hands, but then you want to wash your hands thoroughly
Properly, yeah.
and then you want to get into the hand dryer. And then if you're second to it, you have to stand there with wet hands for a bit, kind of just give them a wee shake over the sink, because you feel that's what you should do here, because I'll not get water anywhere else. Just give them a wee shake over the sink until this cunt's finished.
No making eye contact. Is that not the case in your world, John? No, you're pulling faces at I said as if like that's weird. And I'm sure like your tradesmen and that on the bottom of their arse, like they just they probably shit with the door open and that. But office etiquette is that you you either go first or you wait.
When you talked about it being a race, I was thinking it was a marathon, not a sprint. And it's also one of those races where it's probably better to finish second and just sit and wait, especially if there's only the one hand dryer. Because it is
then you're
awkward.
not risking. Aye. And because if you go first, you're risking that this person isn't getting the etiquette. He's a joiner or something.
Aye. Especially if there's only one hand dryer, there's probably a wee bit of local knowledge there, so you know that there's maybe only like one or two cubicles, and you probably listen for that door, like when they've left, and you can come out and just go about your business.
And then you could deny the smells yours as well if you did
that. Right. Here, that wasn't me.
We were at the Archibald thing a few weeks ago, right? And we were in just having a piss. It was three boys having a piss in the cubicle. There was somebody in the cubicle having a shite. And it was fucking stinking. The whole toilet. We're all looking at each other going, fucking hell. One boy just went, that's fucking stinking. That's fucking reeking. The boys go, it wasn't me. It was the boy with my voice. We're like, aye, whatever, pal. I think when he came out, because like he wouldn't want to, that toilet was in constant use for folk having a pee. He would never want to come in that cubicle because everybody then knows who it is.
Here, do you think that we need to ask some female listeners this, but do you think that sort of pattern goes on in women's toilets? Like, do you think there's the same sort of smell and the same sort of like, oh, you're fucking stinking, by the way? What you been eating?
No, probably not.
Do you think though, in that situation where there's no men around, they go, "Oh, that's a fucking beauty, that." Whereas if we did, that's disgusting. Right, Whiskey Craig said, if your eyes had powers, what would your look do? Turn folk to stone, laser beams. He says, I'd grant hedgehog jobbies to the folk who piss me off the most.
I'd mute folk.
Hang on, is this with your eyes?
Sorry, I'm doing it now, John.
Can you imagine how fucking annoying that would be in real life? Like you're sitting talking to somebody, especially if you're getting like, really fucking annoyed at them, right? And you're just at the point where you've thought of the really clever thing to say, and you're half out, and he just fucking looks at you like, and you go.
Imagine at the football, all the daft cunts round you moaning about stuff, just turn and give them a look, and next thing they're just like, mouth's fucking sealed shut.
How come you're not watching the game? Too busy telling these cunts to shut up.
What about you, John?
That's a good one. I like the idea that you can just like blink at someone or just stare at them intently and do something. I'd look at them and their limbs would fall off like the Barbie and Ken dolls, like kind of like just all four at once. Just watch them crumple to the floor.
And die. Basically, you want just murder.
No,
folk.
no die. Just
cripple them. Just take the arms and legs away from them.
It's more for the sound effect rather than the evil intent that's come across.
What about you, Matthew? What are you saying?
I think I would quite like to make folk have really high pitched voices, similar to your muting. And just that when folk were like teeing off or about to say something serious to you, if you just gave them the look, and then it just became ridiculous after that. Like there's nobody could be angry and get taken seriously with a voice ridiculously high pitched, sort of.
Would you do it?
Levels.
Would you do it so that only they could hear it, or only you could hear it, or would you do it like a two-way thing?
Everybody hears it. Aye.
Just I wonder if there's maybe like if the person could only hear their own high-pitched voice, if that would be better or worse, or funnier or less funny. Like if they were to start saying something, it would go all high-pitched, would they stop themselves and go, hang on, that's not my voice?
That would definitely fuck with their heads more than if everybody acknowledged it, then they would go, all right. But if it was only them that knew it was high-pitched or thought it was high-pitched, but then you'd probably get past that if you're like, well, nobody else knows that this is high-pitched, so I'll just carry on.
Oh, that's a good point.
Right, we're out of time for the show. That went faster. Aye. Okay. Well, we'll be back again soon
at some
with
point.
Another episode. So keep watching our social media, etc., for when the next one will be out.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, etc. If you've not heard your question tonight, don't worry. We will get around to it. You will hear it at some point. In the meantime, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink water, no.